Hello there and welcome to the Dreamy Science Channel. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe you've had a long day filled with questions, or perhaps you're someone who finds comfort in life's beautiful mysteries rather than needing every answer spelled out. Either way, this evening's exploration is crafted just for you. You have nothing to do now but settle in, let your breathing slow, and allow your mind to drift into that peaceful space where curiosity meets wonder. Tonight, we're embarking on a gentle journey through the things science still cannot explain. Not the dramatic unknowns that keep researchers awake at night, but the quiet mysteries that remind us how much beauty remains hidden in the world around us. From the depths of consciousness to the strange behaviors of quantum particles, from the origins of life to the nature of time itself, we'll wander through puzzles that have captivated minds for centuries and continue to whisper their secrets just beyond our reach. Now, let's begin this soft journey into the beautiful unknown. We still don't understand what consciousness actually is. Every moment of your waking life, you experience something that science cannot fully explain. Consciousness, that inner awareness of being you, remains one of the deepest mysteries in all of science. We know it emerges from the brain somehow, but the exact mechanism eludes us. How does the firing of neurons create the rich inner world of thoughts, emotions, and experiences? We can map brain activity, identify which regions light up during different mental states, and even predict some behaviors. But the hard problem of consciousness, as philosophers call it, persists. Why do we have subjective experiences at all? Why isn't the brain simply a biological computer processing information without any inner awareness? Some scientists propose that consciousness is fundamental to the universe itself, like gravity or electromagnetism. Others suggest it emerges from complex patterns of information processing. But for now, the mystery of why you experience being you remains beautifully unsolved, a quiet miracle happening behind your eyes every second of every day. The placebo effect works, but we don't fully understand how. In medical studies around the world, something remarkable happens with startling regularity. Patients given sugar pills or fake treatments often improve, sometimes dramatically. This placebo effect isn't just wishful thinking or coincidence. It produces real, measurable changes in the body. Pain decreases, inflammation reduces, and symptoms genuinely improve. Brain scans show that placebos can trigger the release of natural painkillers and activate healing pathways. But how does belief alone create such powerful physical changes? The connection between mind and body runs deeper than we understand. Some researchers think expectations alter brain chemistry directly. Others propose that the ritual of treatment itself, the care and attention involved, plays a crucial role. What we do know is that the simple act of believing in healing can sometimes create healing. It's a reminder that the boundary between mental and physical health may be far more fluid than we ever imagined. The human body, it seems, carries its own pharmacy, activated by hope and expectation in ways we're only beginning to glimpse. Quantum particles seem to know when they're being watched. At the smallest scales of reality, particles behave in ways that challenge our understanding of existence itself. In the famous double-slit experiment, electrons or photons are fired one at a time toward a barrier with two openings, When no one is watching which slit the particle goes through, it somehow passes through both slits simultaneously, creating an interference pattern that proves nature. But the moment we try to observe its wave, like which path it takes, the particle chooses just one slit and behaves like a solid object. The very act of measurement seems to collapse the particle from existing in multiple states into a single definite state. This isn't a limitation of our instruments or measurement techniques. The effect persists no matter how gentle or indirect our observation methods become. Somehow, particles at the quantum level seem to respond to being observed in ways that defy classical physics. Some interpretations suggest that consciousness itself plays a role in shaping reality at its most fundamental level. Others propose that information, not matter, is the basic building block of existence. But the mystery remains. Why should the universe care whether anyone is watching? We don't know why we sleep, despite spending a third of our lives doing it. Sleep is one of the most universal behaviors in the animal kingdom, yet its primary purpose remains surprisingly unclear. Every night, you surrender consciousness and enter a vulnerable state that from an evolutionary perspective seems dangerous. During sleep, you can't hunt for food, watch for predators, or respond quickly to threats. So why did evolution preserve this seemingly risky behavior? We know sleep helps with memory consolidation, turning short-term experiences into long-term memories. During sleep, the brain clears away metabolic waste, essentially taking out the cellular trash. Growth hormone is released, tissues repair themselves, and the immune system strengthens. But none of these functions fully explains why consciousness must be suspended so completely. Some researchers suggest that sleep serves to integrate experiences, helping the mind make sense of the day's events. Others propose that dreams allow us to practice responding to threats in a safe environment. The brain seems to run maintenance routines during sleep, reorganizing neural connections and optimizing performance. But the deepest mystery persists. Why couldn't these functions happen while we remain awake and alert? Sleep remains a nightly journey into an altered state of consciousness that we desperately need but don't fully understand. The origin of life on Earth is still a complete mystery. Somewhere in Earth's ancient history, non-living matter organized itself into the first living cell. This transition from chemistry to biology represents one of the most profound mysteries in science. We know it happened roughly 4 billion years ago, but the exact process remains hidden in deep time. How did simple molecules arrange themselves into the complex, self-replicating systems we call life? The challenge is staggering. Even the simplest living cell contains thousands of intricate molecular machines working in perfect coordination. DNA stores information, proteins perform countless functions, and membranes create boundaries between life and the external world. All of these components must work together from the very beginning for life to exist. Scientists have proposed many theories. Perhaps life began in warm, shallow ponds where lightning provided energy for chemical reactions. Maybe it started near deep-sea volcanic vents where heat and minerals created the right conditions. Some researchers suggest that life arrived from space, carried on meteorites or comets. But each theory faces significant challenges. The gap between the most complex non-living chemical systems and the simplest living cells remains vast and mysterious. Life seems to require a level of organization and complexity that we struggle to explain through known physical and chemical processes alone. Time might not flow the way we think it does. Our everyday experience tells us that time flows from past to future, that moments pass in sequence, and that now is somehow special. But physics suggests that time might be far stranger than our intuition suggests. Einstein's theory of relativity revealed that time is relative, flowing differently for observers moving at different speeds or experiencing different gravitational fields. At high speeds or in strong gravitational fields, time actually slows down relative to other reference frames. This isn't just theoretical. GPS satellites must account for time dilation effects to maintain accuracy. But the mystery goes deeper. In the equations of physics, there's nothing that distinguishes past from future at the fundamental level. The laws work equally well in both directions. So why do we experience time as flowing in one direction only? Why do we remember the past, but not the future? Some physicists propose that time doesn't actually flow at all. Instead, all moments in time exist simultaneously in what's called the block universe theory. Our perception of flowing time might be an illusion created by consciousness. Others suggest that time's arrow emerges from the increase of entropy, the universal tendency for things to become more disordered. But these explanations still leave deep questions unanswered. The nature of time, something so fundamental to human experience, remains one of physics' greatest puzzles. We can't explain why the universe appears fine-tuned for life. The fundamental constants of physics, the strength of gravity, the charge of the electron, the mass of the proton, seem precisely calibrated to allow the existence of stars, planets, and life itself. If any of these values were slightly different, the universe would be a very different place. If gravity were stronger, stars would burn out too quickly for life to evolve. If it were weaker, stars might never form at all. If the electromagnetic force were different, atoms couldn't hold together properly. The range of values that permit a universe capable of supporting complexity appears remarkably narrow. This apparent fine-tuning poses a profound mystery. Is it simply a cosmic coincidence that the universe happens to have properties compatible with our existence? Some scientists propose the anthropic principle, the idea that we observe these particular values precisely observe them. In universe, because we exist too with different constants, there would be no observers to wonder about fine-tuning. Others suggest the existence of multiple universes, a multiverse where all possible combinations of physical constants exist. We find ourselves in one of the rare universes where life is possible simply because those are the only universes that can be observed. But these explanations raise as many questions as they answer. The mystery of why our universe seems so perfectly suited for the emergence of complexity and consciousness continues to puzzle scientists and philosophers alike. We don't understand why music has such powerful effects on human emotions. Music is a universal human phenomenon that transcends cultural boundaries and speaks directly to our emotions in ways that words cannot. A simple melody can bring tears to your eyes, make your heart race with excitement, or transport you back to distant memories with startling clarity. But why should organized sound patterns have such profound effects on human consciousness? From an evolutionary perspective, music seems puzzling. It doesn't directly help us find food, avoid predators, or reproduce. Yet every human culture has developed complex musical traditions, and children naturally respond to rhythm and melody from infancy. Some researchers propose that music evolved as a form of social bonding, helping groups coordinate activities and strengthen emotional connections. Others suggest that musical ability demonstrates cognitive fitness, serving as a display of mental capabilities. But these explanations don't fully capture the mystery of why certain combinations of notes can reliably produce specific emotional responses across different individuals and cultures. Brain imaging studies show that music activates multiple neural networks simultaneously, including regions associated with emotion, memory, movement, and reward. The brain seems to be naturally wired to find meaning and emotion in organized sound patterns. Music can reduce pain, improve cognitive performance, and even help damaged brains recover function. But the deeper mystery remains. Why should abstract sound patterns connect so directly to human consciousness and emotion in such consistent and powerful ways? Animal migration remains largely unexplained despite decades of research. Every year, billions of animals embark on journeys that span thousands of miles across land, sea, and sky. Arctic terns travel from Arctic to Antarctic and back, covering roughly 44,000 miles annually. Monarch butterflies navigate from Canada to Mexico, despite having never made the journey before. Sea turtles return to the exact beaches where they were born decades earlier. These navigation feats surpass anything humans can accomplish without modern technology. Animals seem to use multiple cues, including the sun, stars, magnetic fields, and even polarized light patterns. Some species appear to have internal biological compasses that detect Earth's magnetic field. Others use celestial navigation, following star patterns across the night sky. But how do animals integrate all these different sources of information into accurate navigation systems? How do they know when to begin their journeys and which direction to travel? Perhaps most mysteriously, how do young animals with no previous experience successfully navigate routes that take them across vast distances to places they've never been? Some researchers propose that animals inherit detailed mental maps encoded in their genes. Others suggest that they rely on environmental cues so subtle that humans haven't discovered them yet. The precision and reliability of animal navigation systems continue to amaze scientists and inspire new research into biological sensors and information processing capabilities that we're only beginning to understand. Quantum entanglement suggests that reality might not be local. When two particles become entangled through interaction, they remain mysteriously connected regardless of the distance between them. Measuring the state of one particle instantly affects the state of its entangled partner, even if they're separated by vast distances. Einstein famously called this spooky action at a distance, and it troubled him deeply because it seemed to violate the principle that nothing can travel faster than light. Recent experiments have confirmed that quantum entanglement is real, and that the correlation between entangled particles occurs instantaneously across any distance. This suggests that either information can somehow travel faster than light, or that reality is fundamentally non-local, meaning that distant objects can be connected in ways that transcend our ordinary understanding of space and time. Some physicists propose that entangled particles share a connection through higher dimensional space that we can't perceive directly. Others suggest that the act of measurement doesn't actually transmit information, but reveals pre-existing correlations that were established when the particles first interacted. But these explanations still leave fundamental questions about the nature of reality unanswered. If entangled particles can affect each other instantaneously across unlimited distances, what does this tell us about the structure of space and time? How can quantum mechanics be reconciled with relativity, which insists that nothing can travel faster than light? Quantum entanglement remains one of the most profound mysteries in physics, challenging our basic assumptions about how reality works at its deepest levels. There's so much more to explore in the mysteries that surround us. If you're still awake, the next part of our journey awaits. And if you'd like to discover more gentle explorations like this one, consider subscribing. There are always more wonders to uncover, one peaceful night at a time. We still can't explain why some people can sense when they're being watched. Most of us have experienced that peculiar feeling of being observed, only to turn around and find someone's eyes fixed on us. This sensation is so common that researchers have given it a name: the sense of being stared at. In controlled experiments, some individuals consistently perform better than chance would predict at detecting when they're being watched from behind, even when all other sensory cues are eliminated. The effect seems to work across significant distances and through barriers that would block normal sight and sound. Scientists have proposed various explanations, from subtle environmental cues we're not consciously aware of to electromagnetic fields generated by focused attention. Some researchers suggest that peripheral vision might detect tiny movements or changes in light patterns that register below the threshold of conscious awareness. Others propose that the feeling might be a form of confirmation bias. We only remember the times we turned around and found someone watching, forgetting the many times we felt observed but discovered nothing. But controlled studies continue to show results that are difficult to explain through conventional sensory mechanisms alone. The possibility that human consciousness might extend beyond the physical remains one of the most intriguing boundaries of the body in as we don't understand mysteries in psychology and neuroscience. The nature of dark matter continues to elude our understanding. Roughly 85% of all matter in the universe appears to be invisible to our instruments. We know dark matter exists because of and galaxy clusters, but we have no idea what its gravitational effects on galaxies is. It doesn't interact with light or ordinary matter in any way we can detect directly. Particles of dark matter might be passing through your body right now by the billions, leaving no trace of their passage. Scientists have built incredibly sensitive detectors deep underground, hoping to catch a single dark matter particle colliding with ordinary atoms. Space telescopes map its distribution throughout the universe, by observing how it bends light from distant galaxies. Particle accelerators attempt to create dark matter in high-energy collisions. Yet after decades of intensive searching, dark matter remains as mysterious as when it was first discovered. Some physicists propose that dark matter consists of exotic particles that interact only through gravity. Others suggest it might be composed of primordial black holes formed in the early universe. Still others wonder if our understanding of gravity itself might be incomplete, and the effects we attribute to dark matter might result from modifications to the fundamental laws of physics. The fact that the vast majority of matter in the universe remains completely unknown to us is perhaps the most humbling reminder of how much we still don't know about the cosmos we inhabit. Consciousness can apparently alter physical reality through intention alone. In laboratories around the world, researchers have documented cases where human intention seems to influence physical systems in ways that conventional physics cannot explain. Random number generators, devices that produce truly random sequences of numbers, sometimes show slight deviations from randomness when people attempt to mentally influence their output. The effects are small, but statistically significant across thousands of trials and multiple research groups. Water crystals exposed to different types of human attention or emotional states appear to form different patterns when frozen. Though this research remains highly controversial, some studies suggest that focused meditation can influence the behavior of quantum systems, causing particles to behave differently than they would under normal circumstances. Plants connected to sensitive electrical monitoring equipment sometimes show responses that correlate with the emotional states of nearby humans, even when no physical interaction occurs. While skeptics attribute these effects to experimental flaws, unconscious bias, or statistical artifacts, the research continues across multiple disciplines. The possibility that consciousness might interact with physical reality through mechanisms we don't understand challenges our basic assumptions about the relationship between mind and matter. If human intention can influence physical systems even slightly, it suggests that the boundary between observer and observed might be far more fluid than conventional science assumes. We don't know why some people have perfect pitch while others don't. Perfect pitch, the ability to identify or produce specific musical notes without reference to other sounds, occurs in less than 1% of the population. People with this ability can hear a car horn and immediately identify it as a B-flat, or tune a piano by ear with remarkable accuracy. The mystery deepens when we consider that perfect pitch seems to require early musical training, usually before age 6, yet most children who receive such training never develop the ability. Genetic factors appear to play a role, as perfect pitch runs in families and is more common in certain populations. But genes alone can't explain why some individuals with all the right genetic markers and early musical exposure still don't develop perfect pitch, while others seem to acquire it almost effortlessly. Brain imaging studies show that people with perfect pitch have different neural structures and processing patterns, but it's unclear whether these differences cause perfect pitch or result from having it. The ability seems to involve a different relationship with auditory memory, as if people with perfect pitch maintain stable internal references for specific frequencies. Some researchers propose that all infants are born with perfect pitch, but most lose it as they develop relative pitch, the ability to identify relationships between notes. Others suggest that perfect pitch represents a different way of processing auditory information that emerges only under specific developmental conditions. The mystery of why this remarkable ability appears in some individuals but not others continues to fascinate researchers studying the intersection of genetics, development, and musical cognition. Ball lightning remains unexplained despite numerous eyewitness accounts. For centuries, people have reported seeing glowing spheres of light that appear during thunderstorms, float through the air for several seconds, and then disappear with a small explosion or simply fade away. These luminous orbs, known as ball lightning, have been described as ranging from the size of a marble to several feet in diameter. They reportedly move independently of wind patterns, sometimes passing through solid objects like windows or walls without causing damage. Witnesses describe the spheres as having various colors and textures, from smooth and glowing to crackling with electrical activity. Despite thousands of documented sightings, ball lightning has proven nearly impossible to study scientifically because it appears unpredictably and lasts only briefly. Researchers have proposed numerous theories to explain the phenomenon, from plasma formations to electromagnetic effects to chemical reactions involving silicon particles vaporized from soil by lightning strikes. Some scientists suggest that ball lightning might be a form of microscopic black hole or an exotic state of matter that exists only under specific atmospheric conditions. Others propose that it results from the interaction between electromagnetic fields and atmospheric gases in ways we don't fully understand. Laboratory attempts to recreate ball lightning have produced various glowing phenomena, but none that match the characteristics described by witnesses. The mystery persists because ball lightning seems to violate several principles of conventional physics, particularly regarding how electrical discharges can maintain coherent structure for extended periods without an obvious energy source. The human ability to navigate without instruments defies easy explanation. Before GPS and compasses, humans successfully navigated across vast oceans and trackless wilderness using only natural cues. Some individuals seem to possess an almost supernatural sense of direction, able to find their way in unfamiliar territory with remarkable accuracy. The Polynesian navigators who settled remote Pacific islands thousands of years ago developed techniques for reading ocean swells, wind patterns, and celestial positions that allowed them to travel thousands of miles across open water to find tiny islands. Aboriginal Australians can navigate across hundreds of miles of seemingly featureless desert, following song lines and reading subtle environmental signs invisible to outsiders. Even in modern, urban environments, some people seem to have an innate compass that helps them maintain their orientation regardless of how many turns they make. Research suggests that humans might have a weak magnetic sense similar to that found in migratory animals, but the evidence remains inconclusive. Brain imaging studies show that people with good navigation skills use different neural networks and process spatial information differently than those who easily become lost. Some researchers propose that navigation ability depends on how well individuals can maintain and update mental maps of their environment. Others suggest that cultural factors and childhood experiences play crucial roles in developing navigation skills. The fact that some humans can navigate with extraordinary accuracy using senses we don't fully understand reminds us that our conscious awareness might represent only a fraction of the information processing occurring in our brains. Déjà vu occurs in most people, but has no satisfactory scientific explanation. That strange feeling of having experienced an exact situation before, even when you know it's impossible, affects roughly 60 to 70% of the population. Déjà vu episodes typically last only seconds, but can feel eerily convincing, as if you're reliving a moment from the past with perfect clarity. The experience seems to involve a disconnect between different memory systems in the brain, but the exact mechanism remains unclear. Some researchers propose that déjà vu occurs when information reaches consciousness through two slightly different neural pathways, creating the illusion that the current experience matches a stored memory. Others suggest that it results from a brief malfunction in the brain's memory encoding systems, causing new experiences to feel familiar. The fact that déjà vu is more common in young people and decreases with age suggests that it might be related to the ongoing development and optimization of memory systems. People with certain types of epilepsy experience déjà vu more frequently, indicating that electrical activity in the temporal lobe might play a role. But these observations don't fully explain why the experience feels so specific and convincing, or why it occurs in otherwise healthy individuals with normal brain function. Some theories propose that déjà vu might involve precognitive elements, where the brain somehow accesses information about future events. While this remains highly speculative, the consistent characteristics of déjà vu experiences across different individuals and cultures suggests that it reflects something fundamental about how human consciousness processes time and memory. We can't explain why anesthesia works or what happens to consciousness during surgery. Every day, millions of people undergo surgery under general anesthesia, temporarily losing consciousness in a controlled and reversible way. Yet despite over a century of medical use, we still don't understand exactly how anesthetic drugs eliminate awareness or where consciousness goes during these procedures. Anesthetics don't simply put the brain to sleep like natural slumber. Instead, they seem to disrupt the integrated information processing that creates conscious awareness. But the specific mechanisms remain mysterious. Different anesthetic drugs work through various pathways, affecting different neurotransmitter systems and brain regions. Some enhance inhibitory signals, while others block excitatory ones. But no single theory adequately explains how these diverse chemical effects consistently eliminate consciousness while preserving basic life functions like breathing and circulation. Brain monitoring during anesthesia shows complex changes in neural activity patterns, but consciousness can sometimes return even when brain activity appears suppressed. Some patients report awareness during surgery despite appearing completely unconscious to medical staff. Others describe out-of-body experiences or encounters with deceased relatives while under anesthesia. These reports challenge our understanding of the relationship between brain activity and conscious experience. Recent research suggests that consciousness might depend more on communication between different brain regions than on overall activity levels. Anesthetics might work by disrupting these connections, fragmenting the unified experience of awareness into isolated neural processes. But this still doesn't explain why consciousness disappears so completely, or why it returns so predictably when the drugs wear off. The mystery of consciousness during deep meditation reveals gaps in our understanding of awareness itself. Advanced meditators report entering states of consciousness that seem to transcend ordinary waking experience. During deep meditative states, practitioners describe a sense of expanded awareness that extends beyond the boundaries of the physical body. Time perception changes dramatically, with hours passing like minutes or moments stretching into seeming eternities. Some meditators report experiences of unity consciousness, where the usual sense of being a separate self dissolves into a feeling of oneness with everything. Brain imaging studies of experienced meditators show remarkable changes in neural activity during these states. Regions associated with self-awareness and the perception of time show decreased activity, while areas linked to attention and sensory processing become more active. But these neural changes don't fully explain the subjective experiences reported by meditators. The fact that these altered states of consciousness can be reliably induced through specific mental techniques suggests that human awareness might have capabilities we don't normally access. Some researchers propose that meditation reveals fundamental properties of consciousness that are usually hidden by the constant activity of everyday thinking. Others suggest that meditative states might provide access to information processing capabilities that exist below the threshold of normal awareness. The consistency of reports across different meditation traditions and cultures implies that these experiences reflect something real about the nature of human consciousness, rather than cultural artifacts or wishful thinking. The speed of light appears to be constant, but we don't understand why. Light travels at exactly 299,792,458 meters per second through a vacuum, and this speed seems to be one of the fundamental constants of the universe. But why this particular velocity and not some other? The speed of light determines how space and time relate to each other, sets limits on how fast information can travel, and defines the boundary between cause and effect. Yet nothing in our current understanding explains why light should travel at this specific speed, rather than faster or slower. Some physicists propose that the speed of light might have been different in the early universe, gradually settling into its current value as space expanded and cooled. Others suggest that it might vary slightly in different regions, ions of the cosmos, or under extreme conditions we haven't yet encountered. The constancy of light speed is so fundamental to physics that changing it would require rewriting most of our equations describing how the universe works. Einstein built his theory of relativity on the assumption that light speed is constant for all observers, and this assumption has been confirmed by countless experiments. But the deeper question remains unanswered. Is the speed of light an arbitrary feature of our particular universe? Or does some deeper principle require it to have exactly the value we observe? We don't know why the universe has the dimensions it does. Our everyday experience unfolds in 3 dimensions of space plus 1 dimension of time. But physics suggests that reality might contain many more dimensions that we simply cannot perceive. String theory, one of the leading attempts to unify all fundamental forces, requires the universe to have at least 10 or 11 dimensions for its mathematics to work correctly. If additional dimensions exist, why are they hidden from our senses while the familiar 3 dimensions of space remain accessible? Some physicists propose that extra dimensions might be compactified, curled up so tightly that they're effectively invisible at the scales we can observe. Others suggest that matter and energy might be confined to a 3-dimensional membrane floating in a higher dimensional space. But these explanations raise new questions. Why should some dimensions remain large and accessible while others become microscopic? What determines which dimensions we experience directly and which remain hidden? The number of spatial dimensions seems to be perfectly suited for the existence of stable atoms, planetary orbits, and complex structures like living organisms. In 2 dimensions, atoms couldn't exist as we know them. In 4 or more dimensions, planetary orbits would be unstable and solar systems couldn't form. Is this another example of apparent fine-tuning in the universe? Or is there some deeper reason why 3-dimensional space provides the optimal environment for complexity and life? The phenomenon of synchronicity suggests connections that science cannot explain. Carl Jung coined the term synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences that seem too significant to be mere chance. People regularly report experiencing uncanny connections between their inner thoughts and external events, encountering exactly the right person at the perfect. These synchronistic experiences often feel when they need it most moment, or receiving information just profound and meaningful to those who experience them. Yet they resist scientific explanation because they seem to involve connections that transcend normal cause and effect relationships. Skeptics attribute synchronicity to selective attention and confirmation bias, arguing that people notice coincidences that seem meaningful while ignoring countless unremarkable events. But the phenomenon persists across cultures and throughout history, suggesting that it might reflect something real about how consciousness interacts with the world. Some researchers propose that synchronicity might emerge from the interconnected nature of quantum reality, where everything remains subtly connected through invisible quantum correlations. Others suggest that consciousness might have the ability to influence probability in ways that create meaningful patterns in seemingly random events. The mystery deepens when considering that synchronistic experiences often seem to occur during periods of psychological transition or spiritual development, as if meaningful coincidences become more likely when people are open to them. Whether synchronicity represents a genuine feature of reality or a persistent illusion created by pattern-seeking minds remains one of the most intriguing questions at the intersection of psychology, physics, and philosophy. We still can't explain how life maintains such extraordinary complexity. Living organisms represent islands of incredible organization in a universe that tends toward increasing disorder, Every cell in your body contains molecular machinery more sophisticated than anything humans have ever built. Yet these systems maintain themselves, repair damage, and reproduce with remarkable reliability. The second law of thermodynamics tells us that entropy, or disorder, must increase over time in any isolated system. Yet life seems to violate this principle by creating and maintaining increasingly complex structures. The resolution lies in the fact that living systems are not isolated. They constantly take in energy from their environment and use it to maintain organization. But this explanation doesn't fully capture the mystery of how life achieves such extraordinary levels of complexity and coordination. A single bacterial cell contains thousands of different proteins working together in precisely orchestrated processes. The timing, location, and concentration of each molecular interaction must be carefully controlled for the cell to survive. How do these systems achieve such remarkable precision without any central controller or conscious oversight? The emergence of multicellular organisms adds another layer of mystery. How do billions of cells coordinate their activities to create unified organisms capable of growth, movement, and reproduction? The information processing requirements for maintaining biological complexity seem to exceed what should be possible through random molecular interactions alone. Some researchers propose that life might utilize quantum effects to achieve levels of efficiency and coordination impossible through classical mechanisms alone. The mystery of how memories form and persist challenges our understanding of the brain. Every experience you have somehow becomes encoded in the physical structure of your brain, stored as patterns of neural connections that can be retrieved years or even decades later. But the exact mechanism by which fleeting experiences transform into permanent memories remains largely unknown. Memories seem to be distributed across multiple brain regions, rather than stored in specific locations like files on a computer. When you recall a childhood memory, networks of neurons throughout your brain activate simultaneously to reconstruct the experience. But how does the brain know which neurons to activate and in what sequence? Recent research suggests that memories might be stored in the strength of connections between neurons, with stronger connections representing more vivid or important experiences. But this still doesn't explain how the brain maintains these connection patterns over time, especially given that the proteins making up neural structures are constantly being replaced. Some researchers propose that memories might be stored in more stable structures, like DNA, or in quantum effects within neural microtubules. Others suggest that the brain might use holographic principles, where each part contains information about the whole. The fact that memories can be altered each time they're recalled adds another layer of mystery. Rather than simply retrieving stored information, the brain seems to reconstruct memories from fragments, potentially changing them in the process. This dynamic quality of memory suggests that our past experiences might be less fixed and more fluid than we typically assume. We don't understand why some people can predict future events in dreams. Throughout history, people have reported dreams that later came true with startling accuracy. These precognitive dreams often involve mundane details that seem impossible to guess through normal means. Someone might dream of meeting a specific person in an unusual location, only to have exactly that encounter occur days or weeks later. Others report dreaming of accidents, natural disasters, or significant world events before they happen. While most dreams remain meaningless fantasies, the small percentage that seem to predict future events continues to puzzle researchers. Skeptics point out that people dream constantly and remember only the dreams that seem significant, especially those that appear to come true. Millions of people having dreams every night, some apparent predictions might be expected by chance alone. But careful studies of individuals who consistently report precognitive dreams show success rates that exceed what probability alone would predict. Some researchers propose that precognitive dreams might result from the unconscious mind processing subtle environmental cues that consciousness misses. The brain might detect early warning signs of events and express these insights symbolically in dreams. Others suggest that the experience of time might be different in dream states, allowing consciousness to access information from future moments. Quantum mechanics offers another possible explanation through retrocausality. The idea that future events might influence past states under certain circumstances. While this remains highly speculative, the consistency of reports across cultures and throughout history suggests that precognitive dreams might reflect something genuine about the relationship between consciousness and time. The existence of child prodigies reveals mysteries about human potential. Some children display abilities that seem to exceed what should be possible given their age and experience. Musical prodigies compose sophisticated pieces before they can read properly. Mathematical geniuses solve complex problems that challenge trained professionals. Artistic prodigies create works of startling beauty and depth despite having minimal training. These exceptional abilities appear suddenly and seem to emerge from nowhere, challenging our understanding of how skills develop. Most prodigies show their extraordinary talents in specific domains while remaining average in other areas. A child might demonstrate adult-level musical composition skills while struggling with basic social interactions or academic subjects outside their area of genius. This pattern suggests that prodigious ability might reflect unusual brain organization rather than general intellectual giftedness. Brain imaging studies of prodigies show enhanced connectivity in regions related to their special abilities. But it's unclear whether these differences cause their talents or result from intensive practice. Some researchers propose that prodigies might have access to information processing capabilities that remain dormant in most people. Others suggest that their abilities might reflect genetic variations that allow for accelerated development in specific cognitive domains. The fact that prodigious abilities often appear without corresponding increases in general intelligence implies that human potential might be far more variable and mysterious than we typically assume. Understanding how prodigies develop their extraordinary talents might reveal hidden capabilities that exist within all human brains. Human intuition can apparently access information beyond normal sensory channels. People regularly make decisions based on gut feelings that turn out to be remarkably accurate, despite having no logical basis for their choices. Experienced professionals often describe knowing the right answer to complex problems before they can explain their reasoning. Parents sometimes sense when their children are in danger despite being miles away. These intuitive insights seem to emerge from sources other than conscious analysis or previous experience. Research into intuitive decision-making shows that people can sometimes detect patterns and relationships that they cannot consciously identify. The unconscious mind appears to process vast amounts of information continuously, occasionally delivering insights to consciousness as sudden hunches or feelings. But this doesn't fully explain cases where intuitive knowledge seems to extend beyond information that could have been gathered through normal means. Some studies suggest that people can sense the emotional states of others through subtle physiological cues they're not consciously aware of. Heart rate, breathing patterns, and micro-expressions might convey information that the intuitive mind processes automatically. Other research explores whether human consciousness might be sensitive to electromagnetic fields generated by other people's hearts. The brain's or possibility that intuition might involve genuine extrasensory perception remains controversial but continues to attract scientific investigation. Whether intuitive insights emerge from enhanced information processing or represent a form of direct knowledge acquisition beyond the five senses, they demonstrate that human consciousness has access to information through pathways we don't fully understand. The mystery of how placebo effects can sometimes outperform real medicine baffles researchers worldwide. In clinical trials, sugar pills occasionally produce better outcomes than actual medications, creating what scientists call the super placebo effect. Patients receiving inert treatments sometimes show more improvement than those given proven therapies, even when both groups believe they're receiving the same medication. This phenomenon suggests that the power of expectation might sometimes exceed the biological effects of pharmaceutical interventions. Brain imaging reveals that placebo responses can activate the same neural pathways targeted by real drugs, essentially causing the brain to produce its own versions of therapeutic compounds. But why some individuals respond so dramatically to fake treatments, while others show no placebo effect at all, remains unexplained. The relationship between belief, expectation, and physical healing appears far more complex than medical science currently understands. We can't explain why some people never get sick, despite constant exposure to pathogens. Throughout every flu season and pandemic, certain individuals seem immune to infections that affect everyone around them. These people work in hospitals, care for sick family members, and live in crowded conditions, yet rarely develop symptoms. Their immune systems appear to function differently from the general population, but the mechanisms behind this extraordinary resistance remain unclear. Some researchers propose that these individuals might have genetic variations that enhance their immune responses. Others suggest that previous exposures to similar pathogens might have created unusually robust immunity. But standard immune system tests often show normal results in these exceptionally healthy people, indicating that their resistance might operate through pathways we haven't discovered. The fact that some individuals can remain healthy in environments that reliably sicken others suggests that human immune systems might have capabilities we're only beginning to understand. The phenomenon of mass hysteria demonstrates how consciousness can create physical symptoms without physical causes. Throughout history, groups of people have simultaneously developed identical symptoms despite having no exposure to toxins, infections, or other physical triggers. These episodes often begin with one person experiencing genuine symptoms, then spread rapidly through communities as others develop the same complaints. The symptoms are real and measurable, not imagined or faked, yet no underlying medical cause can be identified. Brain scans show actual changes in neural activity corresponding to the reported symptoms, proving that the experiences are neurologically genuine even when no physical trigger exists. Some researchers propose that mass hysteria represents a form of unconscious communication where emotional states and expectations spread through groups like a contagious disease. Others suggest that it might involve electromagnetic or quantum effects that allow consciousness to influence the physical world in ways we don't understand. The ability of belief and expectation to create genuine physical symptoms in multiple people simultaneously challenges our understanding of the boundary between mind and body. We don't know why creativity seems to emerge from periods of mental rest. Many of history's greatest insights reportedly occurred during moments when their discoverers weren't actively trying to solve problems. Scientists describe breakthrough moments arriving during a walk or just before falling asleep. Artists speak of inspiration striking when their minds were wandering rather than focused on their work. This pattern suggests that creativity might require a different type of mental state than concentrated effort. But the neurological mechanisms remain mysterious. Brain imaging studies show that creative insights involve sudden increases in activity across multiple neural networks that don't typically work together. These moments of enhanced connectivity seem to allow disparate pieces of information to combine in novel ways. But why this process should be enhanced during mental downtime rather than focused concentration remains unclear. Some researchers propose that creativity requires the default mode network, brain regions that activate during rest, to interact with task-focused networks in unusual ways. Others suggest that reducing conscious control allows unconscious processing systems to make connections that logical thinking might inhibit. The ability of humans to sense electromagnetic fields challenges our understanding of human sensory capabilities. Some individuals report feeling discomfort or illness when exposed to electromagnetic radiation from power lines, cell phones, or wireless networks. While these effects are often dismissed as psychosomatic, controlled studies have found that certain people can detect electromagnetic fields at levels far below what conventional science considers possible. These individuals sometimes show physiological responses to electromagnetic exposure, even when they don't know the fields are present, suggesting genuine biological sensitivity rather than psychological effect. Research into electromagnetic sensitivity has produced mixed results, with some studies confirming unusual responses, while others find no evidence of extraordinary perception. The human body does contain iron and other materials that could theoretically respond to magnetic fields, and some animals clearly use electromagnetic senses for navigation. Whether humans retain vestigial electromagnetic sensing abilities that become apparent only in sensitive individuals remains an open question. We can't explain why identical twins sometimes share experiences across vast distances. Identical twins often report sensing when their sibling is in distress, experiencing pain at the same moment their twin is injured, or having similar thoughts simultaneously despite being separated by continents. These reports go beyond the psychological connections expected between close siblings to suggest a form of direct communication that transcends normal sensory channels. Some researchers propose that twins might maintain quantum entanglement from their shared development in the womb, creating a persistent connection that allows instantaneous information transfer. Others suggest that twins might be more sensitive to electromagnetic signals or other subtle environmental cues that most people cannot detect. Brain imaging studies of identical twins show remarkably similar neural structures and activity patterns. But this doesn't explain how they might share experiences in real time across large distances. The phenomenon remains controversial because it challenges fundamental assumptions about the independence of individual consciousness. The mystery of why music evolved in humans persists despite extensive research. No other species creates music with the complexity and emotional depth found in human cultures. Yet music serves no obvious survival function. Creating and appreciating music requires sophisticated cognitive abilities, including pattern recognition, memory, timing, and emotional processing. The fact that musical ability appears in all human cultures suggests it serves some fundamental purpose, but what that purpose might be remains unclear. Some theories propose that music evolved as a form of sexual selection, demonstrating cognitive fitness to potential mates. Others suggest it developed as a way to strengthen social bonds within groups, helping early humans coordinate activities and maintain cooperation. But these explanations don't fully account for the complexity and universality of musical behavior. Recent research suggests that music might tap into fundamental properties of neural processing, creating patterns of brain activity that feel inherently meaningful to human consciousness. The mathematical relationships underlying musical harmony seem to resonate with the way neurons process information, suggesting that music might exploit deep features of how the human brain works. We don't understand how some people can learn new languages with extraordinary speed and accuracy. Most adults struggle to master foreign languages, requiring years of study to achieve basic fluency. But some individuals seem to absorb new languages effortlessly, achieving near-native proficiency in months rather than years. These language learning prodigies don't necessarily show exceptional ability in other cognitive domains, suggesting that their talent reflects specialized neural capabilities rather than general intelligence. Brain imaging studies reveal that exceptional language learners show different patterns of neural organization, with enhanced connectivity between language processing regions. But whether these differences cause their abilities or result from intensive language exposure remains unclear. Some researchers propose that language learning ability might be related to neural plasticity, the brain's capacity to reorganize itself in response to new experiences. Others suggest that exceptional learners might retain childlike neurological flexibility that most adults lose as their brains mature. The phenomenon of terminal lucidity challenges our understanding of consciousness and brain function. Patients with severe dementia or other cognitive impairments sometimes experience periods of remarkable mental clarity shortly before death. During these episodes, individuals who haven't recognized family members for years suddenly become fully aware and coherent, engaging in meaningful conversations and displaying their former personalities. These moments of lucidity can last hours or days before the person dies, suggesting that consciousness might persist even when brain function appears severely compromised. Medical examinations during terminal lucidity episodes show no improvement in the underlying brain pathology, making the sudden return of mental function deeply puzzling. Some researchers propose that dying brains might release neurochemicals that temporarily restore cognitive function. Others suggest that consciousness might not depend entirely on normal brain activity and could emerge through alternative neural pathways. During extreme circumstances. The fact that awareness can return so dramatically in damaged brains implies that human consciousness might be more resilient and mysterious than current neuroscience assumes. We can't explain why some locations seem to affect human consciousness in consistent ways. Certain places throughout the world are associated with unusual psychological effects, altered states of consciousness, or enhanced creativity. People visiting these locations often report similar experiences despite having no knowledge of others' reactions. Some sites seem to promote feelings of peace and transcendence, while others generate unease or fear in most visitors. These effects occur regardless of the cultural or religious significance of the locations, suggesting that they might result from physical rather than psychological factors. Researchers have measured electromagnetic anomalies, unusual geological formations, and acoustic properties at some of these sites, but no single factor adequately explains their psychological effects. Some scientists propose that certain locations might generate infrasound, low-frequency vibrations below the range of human hearing that can affect mood and perception. Others suggest that geological features might create electromagnetic fields that influence brain activity. The possibility that some places possess inherent properties that alter human consciousness remains one of the most intriguing mysteries at the intersection of psychology and environmental science. Human memory can apparently be inherited across generations in ways that genetics alone cannot explain. Children sometimes display detailed knowledge of historical events, speak languages they've never learned, or show skills that no one in their environment possesses. These cases suggest that memories might somehow be transmitted from parents to offspring through mechanisms beyond normal genetic inheritance. Some researchers propose that traumatic experiences might create epigenetic changes that affect how genes are expressed in future generations, potentially influencing memory and behavior. Others suggest that quantum effects in DNA might allow information storage and transfer in ways we don't currently understand. The phenomenon of genetic memory remains highly controversial because it challenges fundamental assumptions about how information passes between generations. While standard genetics can explain the inheritance of physical traits and even some behavioral tendencies, the apparent transmission of specific memories and learned skills suggests that inheritance might involve more complex mechanisms than scientists currently recognize. We don't know why human consciousness seems to extend beyond the physical boundaries of the body. Many people report sensing the presence of others without seeing or hearing them, feeling observed when no one is visible, or experiencing their personal space as extending beyond their skin. These phenomena suggest that human awareness might not be confined to the physical brain and nervous system. Some researchers propose that consciousness might generate electromagnetic or quantum fields that extend into the surrounding environment, creating a kind of invisible boundary around each person. Others suggest that humans might be sensitive to subtle environmental cues, like air pressure changes, temperature variations, or chemical signals that indicate the presence of others. The fact that people consistently report experiences of extended awareness across different cultures and contexts implies that these phenomena might reflect genuine properties of human consciousness rather than cultural beliefs or psychological artifacts. Understanding how awareness relates to physical space remains one of the fundamental challenges in consciousness research. The mystery of why humans dream in stories with coherent narratives puzzles neuroscientists worldwide. During dreams, the brain creates complex scenarios involving characters, plot developments, and emotional arcs that feel completely real while we experience them. These dream narratives often include elements we've never encountered in waking life, suggesting that the dreaming mind can generate novel experiences rather than simply replaying memories. The brain regions responsible for logical thinking and reality testing are largely inactive during dreams, yet the dream stories maintain internal consistency and follow recognizable narrative structures. Some researchers propose that dreaming serves to integrate experiences and emotions into coherent mental frameworks, essentially creating stories that help the mind make sense of life events. Others suggest that dreams might represent the brain's attempt to find meaningful patterns in random neural activity that occurs during sleep. The fact that dream narratives feel so compelling and meaningful to the dreamer suggests that storytelling might be a fundamental property of human consciousness, rather than a learned cultural skill. We can't explain how group meditation can apparently influence physical systems at a distance. Studies of large meditation groups have reported correlations between collective meditation sessions and measurable changes in crime rates, accident statistics, and other social indicators in surrounding areas. While these studies remain controversial and their results are disputed, some researchers have found statistical relationships that seem too strong to be coincidental. The proposed mechanism involves the idea that focused group consciousness might create coherent electromagnetic or quantum fields that influence the behavior of people throughout the surrounding region. Skeptics argue that the observed correlations result from data manipulation, selective reporting, or coincidental timing rather than genuine causal effects. But the research continues across multiple institutions, with some studies showing reproducible results under controlled conditions. The possibility that collective human consciousness might influence physical reality through unknown mechanisms challenges fundamental assumptions about the relationship between mind and matter. The phenomenon of spontaneous healing confounds medical understanding of disease and recovery. Some patients with terminal diagnoses experience complete remission without treatment, while others recover from conditions that medical science considers incurable. These cases of spontaneous healing occur across all types of diseases and affect people with varying beliefs, lifestyles, and medical histories. The recoveries often happen rapidly, sometimes within days or weeks, suggesting that healing mechanisms exist within the human body that can operate far more quickly and effectively than normal medical interventions. Researchers have attempted to identify common factors among people who experience spontaneous healing, but no consistent patterns emerge. Some cases involve dramatic lifestyle changes, hanges, spiritual experiences, or psychological transformations, while others occur without any apparent trigger. The immune system, stress response, and various hormonal pathways have all been proposed as mechanisms for spontaneous healing, but none adequately explains how the body can sometimes reverse advanced disease processes so completely and rapidly. These cases suggest that human biology might possess self-repair capabilities that remain largely dormant under normal circumstances. We don't understand why human intuition about probability and statistics is so consistently wrong. People regularly make decisions based on probability assessments that contradict mathematical reality. Yet these intuitive judgments sometimes lead to better outcomes than statistical analysis would predict. The human mind seems to process uncertainty and risk through mechanisms that don't follow the rules of probability theory, leading to systematic biases in judgment. But in some contexts, these apparently irrational intuitive assessments prove more accurate than logical analysis. Some researchers propose that intuitive probability judgments evolved in environments very different from modern statistical problems, leading to mental shortcuts that work well for survival decisions, but poorly for abstract mathematical reasoning. Others suggest that human intuition might access information about complex systems that formal statistical methods cannot capture. The fact that experienced professionals in fields like medicine, finance, and engineering sometimes achieve better results by trusting their gut feelings rather than following statistical guidelines suggests that human judgment might involve information processing capabilities that transcend conventional rational analysis. The mystery of why certain numbers appear everywhere in nature remains unexplained. The golden ratio, approximately 1.618, shows up in flower petals, seashells, galaxy spirals, and human faces with uncanny regularity. The Fibonacci sequence appears in pine cones, sunflower seed patterns, and the branching of trees. These mathematical relationships seem to guide the growth and structure of living things, yet we don't understand why nature should follow such precise numerical patterns. Some researchers propose that these ratios represent optimal solutions to physical constraints, allowing organisms to pack seeds efficiently or distribute weight effectively. Others suggest that mathematical constants might be fundamental properties of space and time that inevitably influence how matter organizes itself. But these explanations don't fully capture why specific numbers should be so prevalent across completely different biological systems. The fact that abstract mathematical concepts appear to govern the physical world suggests a deeper connection between mathematics and reality that we're only beginning to glimpse. We can't explain why some people can detect lies with extraordinary accuracy, while most humans perform only slightly better than chance when trying to identify deception. Certain individuals consistently achieve accuracy rates that seem almost supernatural. These human lie detectors don't rely on obvious cues like fidgeting or avoiding eye contact, instead seeming to sense dishonesty through subtle signals that even they can't consciously identify. Brain imaging studies show that exceptional lie detectors process facial expressions and vocal patterns differently than average individuals, but the exact mechanisms remain unclear. Some researchers propose that these people might be more sensitive to micro-expressions, fleeting facial movements that reveal true emotions before conscious control suppresses them. Others suggest that lie detection ability might involve unconscious processing of multiple subtle cues that combine to create an overall impression of truthfulness or deception. The fact that this ability varies so dramatically between individuals implies that human social perception involves capabilities we don't fully understand. The phenomenon of mass animal die-offs continues to puzzle scientists worldwide. Periodically, thousands or even millions of animals from a single species die simultaneously across large geographical areas without any apparent cause. Birds fall from the sky in perfect health one moment and dead the next. Fish wash up on shores by the millions, showing no signs of disease or contamination. These events occur too rapidly and affect too many individuals to be explained by conventional causes like predation, disease, or environmental toxins. Some researchers propose that mass die-offs might result from disruptions to magnetic navigation systems caused by solar storms or changes in Earth's magnetic field. Others suggest that human activities like sonar testing or electromagnetic radiation might interfere with animal sensory systems in ways we don't understand. But many mass die-off events occur in locations far from human activity and during periods of normal magnetic field behavior, leaving the mystery unsolved. Human consciousness appears to influence random number generators in ways that conventional physics cannot explain. In laboratories around the world, researchers have documented small but statistically significant deviations from randomness when people attempt to mentally influence electronic random number generators. The effects are tiny, typically changing the output by less than 1%, but they occur consistently across thousands of trials and multiple research groups. The probability of these results occurring by chance alone is astronomically small, yet no known physical mechanism can account for how human intention might influence electronic devices. Some researchers propose that consciousness might interact with quantum processes occurring within the random number generators, subtly biasing the quantum events that determine their output. Others suggest that the effect might involve unknown electromagnetic or field interactions between the human brain and sensitive electronic equipment. The implications of these findings, if confirmed, would require fundamental revisions to our understanding of the relationship between consciousness and physical reality. We don't understand why children can learn multiple languages simultaneously without confusion, while adults struggle to master even one foreign language. Young children can absorb 2, 3, or even more languages with apparent ease, keeping them completely separate and becoming fluent in all of them. This multilingual ability seems to violate what we know about learning and memory, which suggest that similar information should interfere with each other. Children growing up in multilingual households don't show the confusion or mixing between languages that learning theory would predict. Instead, they seem to develop separate neural networks for each language, switching between them effortlessly depending on their social context. Brain imaging reveals that multilingual children show enhanced connectivity between language processing regions and increased gray matter density in areas associated with executive control. But why the developing brain should be so much more capable of language separation than the adult brain remains mysterious. Some researchers propose that children might use different learning mechanisms than adults, relying more on implicit pattern recognition than conscious rule learning. The mystery of why certain geometric shapes appear sacred across cultures suggests universal principles we don't understand. Throughout human history, specific geometric patterns have been independently discovered and revered by civilizations with no contact with each other. The spiral, the circle, the triangle, and more complex forms like the flower of life appear in religious art, architecture, and spiritual practices across the globe. These shapes seem to resonate with human consciousness in ways that transcend cultural learning, suggesting that they might reflect fundamental properties of how awareness processes visual information. Some researchers propose that sacred geometry might correspond to the mathematical structures underlying physical reality, making certain patterns feel inherently meaningful to minds that evolved within that reality. Others suggest that these geometric forms might match the neural architecture of visual processing systems, creating patterns of brain activity that feel significant and harmonious. The fact that the same geometric relationships appear in natural phenomena, from crystal structures to galactic formations, implies connections between consciousness, mathematics, and physical reality that we're only beginning to explore. Human empathy can apparently operate across great distances without normal communication. People often report feeling sudden emotional distress that later corresponds to traumatic events experienced by loved ones hundreds or thousands of miles away. These empathic connections seem to occur instantaneously, suggesting forms of information transfer that don't rely on conventional sensory channels. Some researchers propose that emotional states might generate electromagnetic or quantum signatures that sensitive individuals can detect unconsciously. Others suggest that close emotional bonds might create persistent connections through mechanisms we don't understand, allowing feelings and experiences to be shared directly between minds. Studies of mothers and children show physiological synchronization that occurs even when they're separated and unaware of each other's activities. Heart rate, breathing patterns, and brainwave activity sometimes align between emotionally connected individuals despite the absence of any known communication pathway. These phenomena challenge our understanding of individual consciousness and suggest that the boundaries between separate minds might be more fluid than we typically assume. We can't explain why some people remember past lives with verifiable historical accuracy. Children occasionally provide detailed descriptions of places, people, and events from historical periods they've never studied, sometimes including specific information that researchers can later verify through historical records. These cases occur across different cultures and religious backgrounds, suggesting that past life memories might represent a genuine phenomenon rather than cultural conditioning. The memories often include mundane details that would be unlikely to appear in books or movies, such as the layout of houses, names of neighbors, or local customs from specific time periods. Some of the most compelling cases involve children who speak languages they've never heard or display skills they've never learned, behaviors that fade as they grow older and their current life experiences accumulate. Researchers have documented cases where children have led investigators to historical locations they described in detail, providing information that proved accurate despite being absent from readily available sources. While reincarnation remains a controversial explanation, the verifiable accuracy of some reported past life memories continues to challenge our understanding of consciousness, memory, and personal identity. The phenomenon of shared dreaming suggests that consciousness might not be entirely individual. Some people report having identical or very similar dreams on the same night, sometimes including specific details that would be extremely unlikely to occur by coincidence. These shared dreams often involve people who are emotionally close, but can also occur between strangers who meet for the first time and discover they've had remarkably similar dream experiences. Controlled studies of dream sharing have produced mixed results, but some research groups report success rates that exceed what chance alone would predict. The experiences typically involve symbolic or emotional content rather than literal shared adventures, suggesting that dream sharing might operate through unconscious communication of feelings and associations rather than direct transfer of narrative experiences. Some researchers propose that shared dreaming might involve quantum entanglement between minds during sleep states, when normal conscious barriers are reduced brains might bed. Others suggest that sleeping more sensitive to electromagnetic or other subtle environmental signals that can synchronize dream content between individuals. The possibility that human consciousness might extend beyond individual boundaries during certain states of awareness has profound implications for our understanding of the nature of mind and identity. We don't understand why certain sounds can instantly trigger powerful emotional responses. Specific frequencies, timbres, and acoustic patterns seem to bypass conscious thought and directly activate emotional systems in the brain. The sound of a baby crying immediately captures attention and generates protective responses even in people who have never had children. Certain musical intervals create feelings of tension or resolution that appear to be universal across cultures. Low-frequency sounds can generate feelings of unease or fear without any conscious recognition of their source. These acoustic triggers seem to operate through neural pathways that predate language and rational thought, suggesting that sound might have been one of the earliest forms of emotional communication. Some researchers propose that these responses evolved as survival mechanisms, allowing our ancestors to quickly identify threats or opportunities based on environmental sounds. Others suggest that the mathematical relationships underlying acoustic patterns might correspond to fundamental properties of neural processing, making certain sound combinations feel inherently meaningful or emotional. The fact that music and sound can reliably produce specific emotional states across different individuals and cultures implies deep connections between acoustic patterns and the structure of human consciousness. The mystery of why twins separated at birth often lead remarkably similar lives challenges our understanding of nature versus nurture. Identical twins raised in completely different environments sometimes make nearly identical life choices, developing similar interests, choosing similar careers, and even naming their children the same names. These parallels extend beyond traits that could be explained by shared genetics to include specific preferences, behaviors, and life experiences that seem too detailed to be coincidental. Studies of separated twins have documented cases where both individuals chose the same unusual hobbies, married people with the same names, or experienced similar accidents at nearly the same ages. The similarities often extend to minute details like food preferences, clothing choices, and personal habits that would seem to depend entirely on environmental influences. While genetics clearly plays a role in personality and aptitude, the specificity of some twin parallels suggests influences that go beyond what we currently understand about genetic expression. Some researchers propose that twins might remain connected through quantum entanglement or other subtle mechanisms that allow them to influence each other's choices unconsciously. Others suggest that genetic influences on behavior might be far more detailed and specific than current science recognizes. Human healing can apparently be accelerated through focused intention from others. Studies of distant healing, where one person focuses healing intentions on another person in a different location, have reported measurable improvements in various health conditions. While the research remains controversial and results are often inconsistent, some controlled studies have found statistically significant effects that seem to exceed what placebo responses alone could explain. The proposed mechanisms range from electromagnetic field interactions to quantum entanglement between healer and patient. Prayer studies have produced similarly mixed but occasionally significant results, with some research suggesting that people who are prayed for by others recover more quickly from certain illnesses. Critics argue that positive results reflect statistical artifacts, selection bias, or inadequate control procedures rather than genuine healing effects. But the research continues across multiple institutions, with some investigators reporting reproducible results under carefully controlled conditions. The possibility that focused human intention might influence biological processes at a distance would have profound implications for our understanding of consciousness and its relationship to physical reality. We can't explain why certain people can sense the emotional history of objects. Psychometrists claim the ability to perceive information about the past experiences of objects by touching them, often providing specific details about previous owners or significant events associated with the items. While this ability remains scientifically unproven, controlled tests have occasionally produced results that exceed chance expectations. Some individuals consistently provide accurate information about the history of objects when all normal sources of such information are eliminated. The phenomenon might involve unconscious detection of trace chemicals, electromagnetic residues, or other physical evidence that sensitive individuals can interpret below the threshold of conscious awareness. Alternatively, psychometry might represent a genuine form of extrasensory perception, where consciousness can access information stored in ways that conventional science doesn't recognize. The fact that some people report these experiences consistently while others never have them suggests individual differences in sensory processing or consciousness that we don't fully understand. Whether psychometry represents enhanced normal perception or genuine paranormal ability, it highlights the possibility that human awareness might be capable of gathering information through channels beyond the recognized five senses. The phenomenon of telephone telepathy, where people call just when someone is thinking about them, occurs with surprising frequency. Most people have experienced receiving phone calls from individuals they were just thinking about, often after long periods without contact. While this could be explained as coincidence or selective memory, some researchers have found that these synchronistic communications occur more often than probability would predict. Studies asking participants to guess who is calling before answering the phone have shown success rates significantly above chance levels, particularly between people who know each other well. The effect seems strongest between individuals with close emotional bonds, suggesting that psychological connection might somehow facilitate communication through unknown channels. Some researchers propose that these experiences might involve electromagnetic sensitivity, with some people unconsciously detecting subtle signals associated with telephone networks or electronic devices. Others suggest that expectation and intention might create genuine telepathic connections that allow information transfer between minds. The consistency of these reports across different populations and the occasional positive results in controlled tests suggest that human consciousness might possess communication capabilities that extend beyond the recognized senses. We don't understand why human creativity seems to come in sudden bursts of inspiration. The creative process often involves long periods of preparation and incubation, followed by sudden moments of insight where complete solutions appear fully formed in consciousness. These eureka moments feel like discoveries rather than inventions, as if the creative ideas already existed somewhere and were simply accessed by the conscious mind. Brain imaging during creative insights shows sudden increases in activity across multiple neural networks that don't normally work together, suggesting that creativity involves the formation of novel connections between different brain regions. But why these connections should form suddenly rather than gradually, and why they should produce coherent creative solutions rather than random associations, remains mysterious. Some researchers propose that creative insights emerge from unconscious processing systems that work continuously below the threshold of awareness, presenting their results to consciousness only when complete solutions are ready. Others suggest that creativity might involve accessing information from sources beyond the individual brain, perhaps through collective unconscious mechanisms or field effects that connect human minds. The fact that multiple individuals sometimes make identical creative discoveries simultaneously, despite working independently, supports the idea that creative ideas might exist in some form independent of the minds that discover them. The mystery of how humans can accurately sense when someone is staring at them from behind continues to intrigue researchers. This feeling of being watched is reported by people across all cultures and has been documented in numerous studies, some showing success rates significantly above chance. The effect seems to work, even when the person being observed has no conscious awareness of the observer's presence, and when all conventional sensory cues are eliminated. Proposed explanations range from unconscious detection of subtle environmental changes to direct perception of focused attention through unknown sensory mechanisms. Some researchers suggest that human beings might possess rudimentary electromagnetic sensing capabilities, similar to those found in some animals, allowing them to detect the bioelectric fields generated by focused attention. Others propose that the sense of being stared at might involve quantum mechanical effects, where the observer's consciousness directly influences the observed person's awareness state. The phenomenon appears strongest when the observer has strong emotional or intentional focus on the subject, suggesting that the intensity of attention might play a role in creating detectable effects. Whether this represents a genuine sixth sense or an artifact of unconscious sensory processing, the consistency of reports suggests that human awareness might extend beyond the boundaries of the physical body in ways we don't fully understand. We can't explain why some people retain vivid memories from very early childhood, while others remember nothing. Most adults have few or no memories from before age 3 or 4, a phenomenon called childhood amnesia. Yet some individuals recall detailed experiences from infancy, including specific conversations, visual details, and emotional states from ages when memory formation supposedly isn't yet developed. These early memories often include information that can be verified through family records or photographs, suggesting they represent genuine recollections rather than constructed stories. The brain structures necessary for forming lasting memories are thought to be immature during the first years of life, making early memory retention seem impossible through conventional understanding. Some researchers propose that early memories might be stored differently than later ones, perhaps in body memory or cellular memory systems that don't depend on the hippocampus and other structures traditionally associated with memory formation. Others suggest that some individuals might have accelerated neural development that allows memory formation earlier than normal. The fact that early memories often have a different quality than later ones, frequently including sensory details and emotional impressions rather than narrative content, suggests that multiple memory systems might operate during different developmental stages. The phenomenon of crisis apparitions, where people see deceased loved ones at the moment of death, challenges our understanding of consciousness and death. These experiences occur across all cultures and are often reported by people with no belief in supernatural phenomena. The apparitions typically appear briefly to deliver final messages or simply to say goodbye, often to individuals who are unaware that the person has died. Many cases involve accurate information about the death that the observer had no normal way of knowing, such as the exact time or circumstances of passing. While skeptics attribute these experiences to grief hallucinations or coincidental timing, the specificity and accuracy of many reports suggest something more complex might be occurring. Some researchers propose T-hat consciousness might persist briefly after physical death, allowing final communications through unknown mechanisms. Others suggest that the strong emotional bonds between people might create connections that transcend physical separation, allowing information transfer at critical moments. The fact that these experiences often occur to multiple family members simultaneously, sometimes in different locations, adds to the mystery of how such phenomena might operate. We don't understand why certain places consistently produce unusual experiences across different visitors. Some locations around the world are associated with altered states of consciousness, enhanced creativity, or spiritual experiences that occur regardless of visitors' beliefs or expectations. These effects seem to be properties of the places themselves, rather than cultural conditioning or suggestion. Scientific measurements at some of these sites have revealed electromagnetic anomalies, unusual acoustic properties, or geological features that might influence brain function. But no single factor adequately explains their psychological effects. Some researchers propose that certain geographical locations might generate infrasound, magnetic field variations, or other environmental factors that alter consciousness in predictable ways. Others suggest that some places might possess properties related to quantum field effects or other phenomena that mainstream science doesn't yet recognize. The consistency of reported experiences across different individuals and time periods implies that environmental factors can influence human consciousness in ways we're only beginning to understand. Human beings appear to possess an internal biological clock that operates independently of external time cues. People can accurately estimate time passage and wake up at predetermined times even without clocks or natural light cycles. This internal timekeeper seems to operate through mechanisms more precise than current understanding of circadian rhythms can explain. Some individuals can maintain accurate time awareness for days or weeks in environments completely isolated from normal time cues, suggesting that biological time perception involves more than simple responses to light and darkness cycles. The internal clock appears to be influenced by psychological states, with time seeming to pass more quickly during engaging activities and more slowly during relaxing activities, slowly during boring or stressful situations. But the mechanisms underlying these subjective time effects remain mysterious. Some researchers propose that time perception might involve quantum processes in neural microtubules that operate at frequencies corresponding to consciousness cycles. Others suggest that biological timekeeping might depend on electromagnetic field detection or other environmental sensing capabilities that we don't fully understand. The mystery of why human consciousness appears to be unified despite being generated by billions of separate neurons puzzles neuroscientists worldwide. Your experience of being a single, coherent self emerges from the coordinated activity of countless individual brain cells. yet you never experience the separateness of these neural components. This binding problem, as researchers call it, represents one of the fundamental challenges in understanding consciousness. How does the brain integrate information from different sensory systems, memory networks, and processing regions into a single unified experience? The neural networks responsible for vision, hearing, touch, and thought operate somewhat independently, yet consciousness feels seamless and whole rather than fragmented. Some theories propose that consciousness emerges from synchronized oscillations across different brain regions, with neural networks communicating through precisely timed electrical rhythms. Others suggest that consciousness might involve quantum effects that allow instant coordination across the entire brain. The fact that certain brain injuries can fragment consciousness while leaving individual cognitive abilities intact suggests that unity of experience depends on specific neural mechanisms that we don't fully understand. We can't explain why some people can influence the growth of plants through intention alone. Controlled studies have documented cases where focused human attention appears to enhance plant growth, increase seed germination rates, or improve crop yields beyond what statistical variation would predict. The effects are typically small but consistent across multiple trials and research groups. Plants exposed to positive intentions often show measurably better health and growth compared to control groups, even when all environmental factors are carefully controlled. Some researchers propose that these effects might involve electromagnetic fields generated by human consciousness that influence cellular processes in plants. Others suggest that focused intention might create subtle environmental changes in temperature, humidity, or air circulation that promote plant growth. The mechanism remains unclear, but the consistency of positive results across different types of studies suggests that human consciousness might interact with biological systems in ways that conventional science doesn't recognize. The possibility that mental states can directly influence living organisms has profound implications for our understanding of the relationship between consciousness and life itself. The phenomenon of spontaneous human combustion continues to baffle investigators despite extensive research. In rare cases, human bodies appear to burn from within, consuming most of the torso while leaving extremities and surrounding objects largely untouched. The intense heat required to reduce a human body to ash typically exceeds what any normal fire could produce. Yet the localized nature of the burning suggests some internal source of ignition. Proposed explanations include the wick effect, where body fat acts as fuel for a slow-burning fire, or unusual chemical reactions involving alcohol or other substances. But none of these theories adequately explain how such intense heat could be generated and contained within the human body without external fuel sources. The rarity of the phenomenon makes systematic study nearly impossible, leaving investigators to piece together evidence from scattered case reports and forensic examinations. Some researchers have proposed that spontaneous combustion might involve unknown biochemical processes or electromagnetic effects that can occur under specific physiological conditions. The mystery persists because the physics of human combustion seem to violate what we know about how fires start and spread. Human consciousness appears to continue processing information during clinical death, challenging our understanding of when awareness actually ends. Patients who have been declared clinically dead, with no measurable brain activity or vital signs, sometimes report detailed experiences of events that occurred while they were unconscious. These near-death experiences often include accurate information about medical procedures, conversations, or events in other locations that the patient had no normal way of knowing. Some individuals describe leaving their bodies and observing their resuscitation efforts from above, providing specific details about medical equipment, personnel, and procedures that occurred while they showed no signs of consciousness. While skeptics attribute these experiences to brief periods of brain activity that aren't detected by monitoring equipment, the accuracy and consistency of reported observations suggests that some form of awareness might persist even during apparent death. Research into consciousness during cardiac arrest has found that some patients retain memory formation capabilities even when brain activity appears absent, implying that consciousness and brain function might not be as directly linked as medical science assumes. We don't understand why certain mathematical constants appear repeatedly in completely unrelated natural phenomena. Pi shows up not only in circles, but in statistics, quantum mechanics, and biological systems where circular geometry plays no obvious role. The mathematical constant E appears in population growth, radioactive decay, and probability distributions across diverse fields of science. These universal mathematical relationships suggest deep connections between abstract mathematics and physical reality that we don't fully comprehend. Some researchers propose that mathematical constants reflect fundamental properties of space, time, and matter that inevitably influence how natural systems develop. Others suggest that mathematics doesn't just describe reality, but might actually constitute reality at its deepest level. The fact that complex mathematical relationships govern everything from atomic structure to galactic formation implies an underlying mathematical order to the universe that consciousness has somehow learned to recognize and manipulate through symbolic reasoning. The mystery of how consciousness creates the subjective experience of color remains unsolved despite extensive research into visual processing. The wavelengths of light themselves have no inherent color. They're simply electromagnetic radiation at different frequencies. Yet when these wavelengths interact with your visual system, they create the rich, qualitative experience of seeing red, blue, or green. This transformation from physical energy to subjective experience represents one of the deepest puzzles in neuroscience. We understand the mechanics of how light activates photoreceptors and how visual information travels through the brain. But we can't explain why this processing should produce any subjective experience at all, much less the specific qualities of different colors. The hard problem of consciousness becomes particularly clear when considering color perception, because there's nothing in the physical properties of light waves that resembles the subjective experience of redness or blueness. Some researchers propose that consciousness might involve quantum effects in neural structures that create subjective experiences through mechanisms we don't understand. Others suggest that the subjective qualities of experience might be fundamental properties of certain types of information processing systems. Human memory can apparently be influenced by events that haven't happened yet, suggesting that time might not flow in the linear way we experience it. Some studies have found that people can unconsciously respond to future events before they occur, showing physiological changes seconds or even minutes before random stimuli are presented. This presentiment effect appears in experiments where participants' skin conductance, heart rate, or brain activity changes in anticipation of randomly selected emotional or neutral images. The responses occur before the computer randomly selects which type of image to show, suggesting that human consciousness might sometimes access information about future events. While the effects are small and don't occur in every trial, they appear consistently across different research groups and experimental designs. Some researchers propose that quantum mechanics might allow information to flow backward in time under certain circumstances, enabling precognitive responses. Others suggest that time itself might not be as linear as our conscious experience suggests, with past, present, and future existing simultaneously at deeper levels of reality. The possibility that human consciousness might not be confined to the present moment has profound implications for our understanding of free will, causation, and the nature of time itself. The phenomenon of shared death experiences, where family members or friends report accompanying dying loved ones partway into death before returning to life, challenges our understanding of consciousness and mortality. These experiences often involve multiple people simultaneously reporting similar visions, sensations, or encounters with deceased relatives during the final moments of someone's life. Unlike individual near-death experiences, shared death experiences involve living people who aren't dying themselves, but somehow participate in the dying person's transition. Witnesses describe leaving their bodies, encountering bright lights, or visiting otherworldly realms alongside their dying loved ones before suddenly returning to normal awareness. The experiences often provide comfort and reduce grief, but they also raise profound questions about the nature of death and consciousness. Some researchers propose that intense emotional connections might create temporary links between minds during extreme situations, allowing shared experiences through unknown mechanisms. Others suggest that consciousness itself might not be as individual as we typically assume, with awareness potentially extending beyond the boundaries of single brains under certain circumstances. We can't explain why some people can detect water underground using simple tools or bare hands. Water dowsing, or divining, involves people walking across land while holding forked sticks, metal rods, or other implements that supposedly move when underground water is detected. While the practice is dismissed by most scientists as superstition, controlled studies have occasionally found success rates that exceed chance expectations. Some dowsers claim to sense underground water through subtle changes in electromagnetic fields, gravitational effects, or other environmental cues that sensitive individuals can detect unconsciously. Others report feeling physical sensations like tingling, temperature changes, or muscle tensions when passing over underground water sources. The mechanism behind any genuine dowsing ability remains completely unknown, but the consistency of some practitioners' results suggests that certain people might possess sensory capabilities that mainstream science doesn't recognize. Research into biological sensitivity to electromagnetic fields and gravitational variations continues to explore whether humans might retain vestigial detection abilities that most people no longer consciously access. The mystery of why human babies are born so helpless compared to other animals suggests something unique about human development. Most mammals can walk, find food, and survive independently within hours or days of birth. Human infants remain completely dependent on caregivers for months or even years, requiring constant attention and protection. This extended helplessness seems disadvantageous from an evolutionary perspective, yet it's one of humanity's most distinctive characteristics. Some researchers propose that human babies are born early to accommodate large brain sizes that wouldn't fit through the birth canal if development continued longer. Others suggest that the prolonged dependency period allows for extensive neural plasticity and learning that wouldn't be possible if babies were born more mature. But these explanations don't fully account for why humans evolved such an unusual developmental strategy when other intelligent species manage with much shorter dependency periods. The extended helplessness of human infants might reflect something fundamental about how human consciousness develops and integrates with social structures in ways that other species don't require. And now, as we reach the end of our gentle journey through these beautiful mysteries, let your thoughts settle like leaves on still water. We've wandered together through questions that have puzzled minds for centuries, from the enigma of consciousness to the strange behaviors of quantum particles, from the mystery of why we dream to the puzzle of how life began. Each unsolved riddle reminds us that despite all our scientific achievements, the universe still holds countless secrets, waiting quietly in the spaces between what we know and what we wonder about. These mysteries aren't problems waiting to be solved, but invitations to remain curious, to stay humble, and to find peace in not having all the answers. In a world that often demands certainty, these enduring questions whisper that reality is far more wonderful and strange than we might ever fully understand. As you drift toward sleep tonight, carry with you the quiet comfort that mystery and wonder are gifts to be treasured. Let your dreams be filled with questions that don't need answers, only appreciation for the beautiful unknown that surrounds us all. If you found peace in these gentle explorations, consider subscribing for more quiet journeys into the mysteries that make our world so wonderfully strange. There are always more wonders waiting to be discovered, one peaceful night at a time. Sleep well, and remember that in a universe full of unsolved puzzles, the greatest mystery of all might simply be that you're here to wonder about them.